Bad as things seemed for the defenders of Eger, things had gotten much worse for the Ottoman army outside. They did not expect this siege to take this long and had now run out of ammunition. The two Turkish commanders had begun bickering over who was to blame for this disaster, and disease had also swept through their camp. Many of their soldiers no longer had the will to fight, and officers began resorting to pushing their men towards the walls at sword point. On October 17th, half of the battered Ottoman army leaves Eger, and the remaining army follows them the next day. An estimated 9,000 Ottoman soldiers died trying and failing to take the fortress. Against all odds, Commander Dobo and his ragtag group of 2,000 soldiers, farmers, and women had just handed the Ottoman Empire their first defeat in their war against the Habsburgs, and he becomes a national hero in Hungary for leading one of the only defensive last stands in history that actually won. Battle of Camaro. For most history fans, the American Civil War is probably the first thing that comes to mind when you think about the 1860s. But did you know that at the very same time, just south, the French were conducting a full-scale invasion of Mexico, and it was actually in this conflict that one of the greatest last stands in history took place. It's 1861, and the Emperor of France, Napoleon III, feels he has just come up with the perfect plan to grow his empire. At the time, the Civil War was raging in the United States, and with the Americans busy killing each other, Napoleon thought this might be the perfect time to test that pesky Monroe Doctrine, a treaty that prohibited European states from messing around in the Americas. And just as luck would have it, Mexico had just given him the perfect opportunity to do just that. See, the Mexicans had just come out of their own civil war that nearly bankrupted them. They owed a ton of money to Europe, and being broke, the new government had stopped paying their loans. This was no bueno to Europe, and so Spain, the UK, and France each sent troops to Mexico in December of 1861 to get their money back. The UK and Spain quickly reach an agreement with the Mexicans and head back to Europe. But France, on the other hand, begins to send more troops to Mexico, and it quickly becomes clear to everyone that Napoleon's goals aren't just collecting overdue debts. This was an old-school imperial invasion. Tensions continue to escalate as more and more French troops land in Mexico, and in 1862, 6,500 of Napoleon's imperial army begin a march towards Mexico City. The Mexicans scramble soldiers and militia to defend their capital, and skirmishes break out en route. The Mexicans fight valiantly, but the French push them back at every battle and seem unstoppable. But on May 5, 1862, the Mexicans again try to stop the French army as they enter the town of Puebla, and though they're outnumbered, they manage to beat them back for the first time. This victory proved the Mexicans could go toe-to-toe with one of the